Welcome back to Nomico channel. Today is February 17th, 2026, Lunar New Year's Day, the first day of the 2026 Chinese Year of the Horse. So happy Lunar New Year to everyone celebrating. The AI world has been absolutely packed with drama, breakthroughs, and a whole lot of agent talk, from Hollywood versus TikTok's parent company to OpenAI snapping up one of the hottest open source agent projects, to Spotify basically letting AI write its code. We've got a lot to cover. Let's get into today's AI news roundup. First up, the big Hollywood showdown with ByteDance. This story comes from Engadget Tech News, published February 16th, 2026, and The Verge, also on February 16th. ByteDance, the company behind TikTok, just launched its new AI video generator Seedance less than a week ago. Almost immediately, it went viral for all the wrong reasons. People started sharing hyper-realistic AI videos of Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt in dramatic fight scenes, plus clips featuring characters from Disney, Dragon Ball Z, Family Guy, Pokemon, and more. According to Engadget and The Verge, Disney and Paramount Skydance have already sent cease and desist letters to ByteDance. Disney claims Seedance 2 is using what they call a pirated library of Disney's copyrighted characters, Star Wars, Marvel, all the big franchises, as if they were just free clip art. They even included example videos of Spider-Man, Darth Vader, and others being generated by the tool. Hollywood trade groups are piling on as well, arguing that Seedance 2 is violating copyright protections and using actor likenesses without consent. In a statement shared with outlets like the BBC and CNBC, ByteDance said it respects intellectual property rights and is taking steps to strengthen current safeguards to prevent unauthorized use of IP and likenesses. But when pressed on how exactly they're going to do that, they didn't give specifics. So on one side, we've got an insanely powerful AI video generator that can remix culture at scale. On the other side, we've got some of the most powerful IP holders in the world saying absolutely not. This is the front line of the AI versus copyright battle, and it's moving from still images to full-blown video now. And that's actually a nice segue into our second big theme today, AI, agents, and the agentic web. Let's jump to OpenAI's latest move. This news comes from Engadget Tech News, published February 16th, 2026, and from Unwire.hk, also on February 16th. OpenAI has just hired Peter Steinberger, the developer behind OpenClaw, one of the hottest open source AI agent projects on GitHub right now. OpenClaw is an AI system that lets users build their own agents that can control apps like email, Spotify, home automation, WhatsApp, Discord, Slack, iMessage, Hue Lights, and more. According to Engadget, OpenClaw shot up to around 196,000 GitHub stars and 2 million weekly visitors in just weeks. People have been using it to build agents that can write code, clean out inboxes, do online shopping, and basically act as personal digital workers. Sam Altman announced on X that Steinberger is joining OpenAI to drive the next generation of personal agents, saying the future is going to be extremely multi-agent, with lots of smart agents interacting with each other to do useful things for people. Importantly, he also said OpenClaw will stay open source, living in a foundation and remaining independent, with support from OpenAI. Unwire.hk's coverage in Chinese adds that Steinberger chose OpenAI over Meta, despite reportedly massive offers, because he wants to change the world more than build a bigger company. Anthropic even forced a name change earlier from Claudebot to OpenClaw, because it sounded too close to Claude. So what does this mean? OpenAI isn't just building a single big chatbot anymore. They're clearly betting on an ecosystem of agents that can take actions on your behalf, talk to each other, and integrate deeply into apps and devices. And that ties directly into our next story from Google DeepMind. This story comes from MarkTechPost AI News, published February 16th, 2026. Google DeepMind researchers have proposed a new framework for what they call intelligent AI delegation to secure the emerging agentic web for future economies. In plain language, they're trying to figure out how we safely let AI agents do things for us across the internet without everything breaking or getting abused. Right now, a lot of multi-agent systems rely on brittle, hard-coded rules. They work in demos, but when the environment changes, new website layout, new API, weird edge case, they fall apart. DeepMind's team argues that for a true agentic web to scale, we need more robust ways to delegate tasks to agents, coordinate them, and keep them within safe boundaries. They're proposing a framework where agents can be given goals, reason about how to achieve them, and hand off subtasks to other agents, but with security and oversight baked in. Think of it as trying to design the protocols for a future internet where your personal AI doesn't just answer questions, it negotiates with other AIs on your behalf, booking travel, managing finances, running businesses without going rogue. So OpenAI is hiring the guy behind one of the most popular agent platforms. DeepMind is publishing blueprints for how agents should safely work together at internet scale. There's a clear convergence. Everyone thinks the next big phase of AI is agents. And that brings us to a very practical example of agents in education. This story also comes from MarkTechPost AI News, published February 16th, 2026. MarkTechPost featured a tutorial on building a fully stateful tutor agent, basically an AI teacher with long-term memory, semantic recall, and adaptive practice generation. Instead of a chatbot that forgets you after the session ends, this tutor agent continuously learns about you over time. It stores durable information about your preferences, tracks your weak areas, and uses semantic retrieval to pull only the most relevant context from past interactions when responding. On top of that, it can generate practice problems tailored to what you struggle with, not just generic questions. The implementation combines persistent storage, vector search, and smart prompting to create a much more personalized and long-lived learning companion. So, if we zoom out, OpenClaw is about agents that run your apps. DeepMind's framework is about agents running the web. And this tutor is an example of an agent that runs your learning life. The agentic future isn't just theory, it's already being prototyped across different domains. Speaking of AI doing actual work, let's talk about Spotify and its AI coder. This news comes from Unwire.hk, published February 16th, 2026. Spotify's co-CEO Gustav Söderström revealed that starting from December last year, their internal AI system named Honk has essentially taken over the code writing process. He described it as zero handwritten code from that point. Honk is an AI assistant for engineers that can generate production-grade code, help with refactoring, and accelerate development. According to Unwire.hk's coverage, Spotify has deeply integrated Honk into its engineering workflows to the point where human engineers are mostly reviewing, guiding, and orchestrating rather than manually writing every line. This is huge. We've talked a lot about AI as a co-pilot, but this is closer to AI as the primary driver with humans supervising. It raises big questions. What happens to traditional software engineering roles? How do you maintain quality, security, and accountability when an AI writes most of your code? And how do you keep engineers' skills sharp if they're coding less by hand? That brings us nicely to our next article, which looks at coding with AI from the user's perspective. This story comes from CNET Tech News, published February 16th, 2026. CNET ran an experiment titled I vibe coded an app with 3 popular chatbots. The real winner is a good prompt. The author built one project using 3 different major chatbots, comparing how each helped them code an app. The big takeaway, according to CNET, wasn't that one model absolutely demolished the others. Instead, the real performance difference came from how good the prompts were. When the instructions were clear, structured, and iterative, explaining the goal, constraints, tech stack, and desired style, all 3 chatbots did much better. When the prompts were vague or underspecified, the models hallucinated more, made incorrect assumptions, or produced more bugs. So even as companies like Spotify lean on systems like Honk, and as agents like OpenClaw become more powerful, the human skill of prompt engineering, or more broadly, explaining what you want precisely, is still critical. Now, let's shift to voice and privacy, two areas that are colliding hard with generative AI. This story comes from Gizmodo Tech News, published February 16th, 2026. Gizmodo reports that a former NPR host has sued Google, accusing the company of copying his voice for an AI feature in its NotebookLM product. NotebookLM recently added an AI podcast generation feature where the system can turn your notes and documents into an audio show, complete with synthetic voices. The former host claims that one of these voices sounds suspiciously like him close enough that he believes Google used his voice as a template without permission. He's arguing that this violates his rights to his voice and likeness. This case echoes the concerns we heard earlier with actors and Seedance 2. Whether it's your face or your voice, generative AI is blurring the lines between inspiration, imitation, and outright copying. Courts are now being asked to decide how close is too close. When does a synthetic voice become a stolen identity? And it's not just voice. Visual privacy fears are also boiling over. This story comes from Unwire.hk, published February 16th, 2026. Recently, a screenshot went viral on Threads, supposedly showing a Chinese TV screen with a creepy message. There are currently 2 people in front of the screen. Viewing will be limited. Please purchase a family package. The implication was that the TV was using some kind of AI-powered viewer detection system to count how many people were watching and enforce subscription limits. Unwire.hk dug into it and reports that the image is actually fabricated, a fake. However, the fact that so many people found it believable shows just how anxious the public is about AI and surveillance. The idea that your TV, your phone, or your streaming box might be watching you, counting you, and charging you accordingly doesn't feel that far-fetched anymore. So even though this specific image was fake, the privacy concerns it tapped into are very real. As AI gets better at vision, recognition, and behavior tracking, we're going to see more of these viral scares and probably some real implementations that will make people uncomfortable. If we tie that back, we've now got AI that can copy your face, copy your voice, watch your living room, and generate hyper-realistic content, all while being run by increasingly autonomous agents. The tech is racing ahead. The legal and ethical frameworks are scrambling to keep up. Before we wrap, let's connect the dots one more time. On one side, we have the rise of agents and automation, OpenAI hiring Peter Steinberger, as reported by Engadget and Unwire.hk, to push personal AI agents into the mainstream while keeping OpenClaw open source. Google DeepMind's framework, reported by MarkTechPost, trying to design safe, scalable delegation for an agentic web. MarkTechPost tutorial on a stateful tutor agent that remembers you long-term and adapts to your weaknesses. Spotify's Honk system, covered by Unwire.hk, which is already taking over much of the coding at a major tech company. And CNET's experiment showing that even with powerful models, the key to getting good results is still human clarity and good prompts. On the other side, we have the backlash and growing pains, Engadget and The Verge, detailing how ByteDance Seedance 2 has triggered cease and desist letters from Disney and Paramount over AI-generated videos using actors' likenesses and copyrighted characters. Gizmodo reporting that Google is being sued over an allegedly copied voice in its NotebookLM podcast feature. And Unwire.hk debunking the fake viewer detection TV screenshot while highlighting real public fears about AI-driven surveillance. The common thread is this: AI is moving from something you talk to into something that acts for you. represents you, and sometimes imitates you whether you like it or not. Companies are racing to build the most capable agents, while artists, actors, voice professionals, and regular users are asking, where are the guardrails? If you want to dive deeper into any of these stories, check out the original reporting from Engadget, The Verge, MarkTechPost, Gizmodo, CNET, and Unwire.hk. They're the sources behind everything we covered today. That's it for this AI News Roundup for February 17th, 2026. If you like staying on top of how AI is reshaping tech, creativity, and everyday life, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comments which of these stories excites you the most and which one worries you the most. To everyone celebrating, may the year of the horse bring you health, happiness, and a strong start to the year, and may all your projects and plans run smooth and go far. 祝大家新年快乐，万事如意. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.